Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Monday Night Fireside Chat. I'm Gil with Cat Pat and Family Compound. And with me tonight, we got Tammy from Rebel Canners and Mark from Chef Tech. And tonight's topic is proper food freezer procedures. And this is going to cover a lot of stuff. So here we go. And first of all, let me jump in there and see who's all here and say hello to everybody. So the first one in was Walt Rogers. And Mark popped in and say, I'm number 2. And yeah, he got in trouble beforehand. Yeah, he's in number 2. Then Troop 1351 came in. Shady Hill Homestead came in on both sides.
Thank you.
Both mine and Tammy's. Mark's not broadcasting it tonight, so. And Troop fired back again saying that, so they've been a member for 26 months. And this is why I play a countdown video, because YouTube always throws an ad at the beginning of live stream. So, they didn't miss anything. They were able to watch the ads. Lewis is here. It's the Marshmallow Man.
Lewis.
All right. Got BB Rohde in on your side there, Tammy.
Thank you.
I'm on the other. I'm on my phone on Tammy's side.
Yeah, I've been steadily canning freezer contents for about a month now. Yes, and that's part of what we're going to be talking about when I get to the one screen here. Angel's Homestead is in on your side as well, and of course, like Mark said, he's in there. Mother Earth Garden Club is here, and Geeky Gardens is here as well so far. And counting the numbers of comments and the numbers clicked up on the screen here, we got about 6 people lurking. Hey, lurkers!
Yeah, I sent my buddy Richard Tammy's link. So if you get an extra person there with no comment, that would be him. We're still working.
I got a bunch of extra people here that aren't commenting. So just, hey, no problem. Lurking's fine. Although we would like to at least hit the thumbs up button.
Yeah. No, they're waiting for you to post the link so they can come up and do the spam thing.
Yeah. And and just 2 of them just dropped out. So that may have been a couple of ones coming in there. All righty. So tonight's is related to canning a little bit, maybe a little bit more depending how you look at this. But canning's not the only way to preserve food, but it is the safer way if you got power outages. Speaking of which, as I commented there, I was getting power spikes. And usually I just get one where the uninterrupted power supply goes clunk, clunk as the little spike hits and the light flickers just for a second. Well, it happened 4 times in a row. Clunk, 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 clunk. What the crap's going on? Oh, no, we're going to die tonight. I didn't even start. I didn't even have it started yet. So... But
if we lose you, we'll hold on as long.
Yeah, just run with it.
We'll run the show for you. Hopefully, your smart meter lithium-ion battery in there won't explode and take out your house. So it'll be all right.
Well, I don't have any ion lithium batteries hooked up yet.
No, in the smart meter.
In the power. Oh, the smart meter outside.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, the smart meters don't have batteries in them. They pull right off your power.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can charge for that, by the way.
Yeah. All right.
I tried to put one change out my last house, and I told them it would be over my dead body. Get off my property.
They're not sticking one on my house either. Nope.
Well, it was already here when I bought the property. So, the earthquake today, even though it said southern Idaho, it is not southern Idaho. It's up in central Idaho. And it is several hundred miles away from me, and it was only a 4-point something or other. And it's up near Stanley, Idaho, and they get them all the time up there, and we never feel anything from them. I mean, they could have a 7 up there, and we still wouldn't feel it here. All righty, so let's jump over here and get into this, get it going here before the power goes out. But see, I do have USP, the US uninterrupted power supply here, so I can run for probably 2.5 hours before it's just that my light will go off and I'll be illuminated by my monitors.
Is your internet hooked up to that though?
Yeah, everything for the computers here is hooked up to it. Actually, my one light is on it too. I forgot my one LED front light's on it.
Perfect.
So I will have some light here if power goes out. But if it looks like I'm going to the dark side, you know what's going on.
We have cookies. It's okay. Come to the dark side. We have cookies.
Okay,
right,
so.
Oh yeah.
This is the main thing I was thinking about here. So we're going to start at the top here. Store packaging. When and how long do you keep it when you bring something home from the store? And like Tammy said beforehand, and we were talking beforehand, the prepackaged vegetables, if you get the 1 pound or the 5 pound bag of vegetables and stuff, or if you go to Costco or Sam's Club, you get the 5 pound with the 1 pound bags, corn or broccoli or whatever in it. Those are double bagged too, so that's a little bit better there. But for those, pretty much. But if you're buying stuff that you're going to toss in the freezer, say, we'll hit the ugly elephant in the room first. The meat department.
Yeah.
The fresh meat department, where they got it with the black tray that I'm not sure what that's made out of, and then it has the.
It's recycled stuff. Yeah.
With the polystyrene. Yum.
Yeah.
Hey, black polystyrene with the diaper. Yeah.
Yeah.
That pad in there is as soon as I can get that off my meat and throw it away, it is gone. I can wrap it back up in the plastic and be happy, but that tray and that diaper, as you call it, whatever.
Yeah, so just to be clear, if you get chuck steaks or something on sale for $1, $2 a pound, or whatever you can find it for, and you buy 8 of them, and you bring them all home in their little styrofoam package with the saran, and then you just stick that in a Ziploc bag, no, you're not doing anything. My wife wrapped some in saran wrap like 10 times. I'm like, you didn't do anything. You're just trapping the air in there. You're basically doing the worst case scenario of freeze drying that is not rehydratable.
Yeah.
It's just that's when your meat, you open it up after it thaws, it kind of has a little gray spot on it. It doesn't smell bad, but it doesn't smell good anymore. It's freezer burn.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have the food saver, and everything comes home. Packaged into portion sizes in the food saver and then put in the freezer. Even literally yesterday, we brought home some meat and my nephew put it all in the right portions in the freezer. And then he pulled one out for dinner tonight. Well, that's what happens. Even if it's going to be in there for 24 hours, it's going in a food saver bag with his air out, vacuum sealed.
Yeah. All right. Moon Over Miami joined us, and Tammy Harder joined us.
Hi, Tammy.
Hello.
All right. The other stuff that's store packaging. I'm gonna go. I got some ideas. I want to throw them out here. I'm gonna name products on this. So I'm not saying good or bad on the products, but I'm just saying because some of these have different quality of packaging. The Jimmy Dean round pre-cooked sausage patties in the cardboard box. Inside the cardboard box is the seal a meal type packaging where it's sucked up vacuum airtight.
Cryovac. Yep.
Yeah, cryovac. And those things are tough to open up anyways.
Yeah, you're good. You're good for a year. If because when they do the commercial processing in the giant chamber sealer, I have a miniature version of one, but it literally takes all the air out of it, and air is your enemy in the freezer. Period.
Yeah.
If you got air in the packaging, it's gonna evaporate the moisture out of your food. Oh. There you go. Sweet.
Yeah.
Butcher's wrap. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Now,
there's an echo.
Speaking of butcher paper, look over here to the left above the when and how long. You see the brown paper up? That's meat wrapped in freezer paper, or directly below Mark in the very bottom there. You see those brown packages. That's brown butcher paper.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So there you had that. And all the same thing for the Jimmy Dean pre-cooked sausage links are in a cryo pack thing. However, Brown and Serve is just in the cardboard box.
Yeah.
Oh, hello! Time to whip putting that, taking it out, putting it in a Ziploc bag, and going and sucking it out is better than leaving it in the cardboard box.
My mom was a firm believer in Ziploc bags, and every one of them she personally vacuumed sealed.
Yep. I did that. I taught my wife how to do that when we first met in '87. She bought something and put it in a Ziploc bag, and I grabbed a straw, and I zipped it all the way shut except for where the straw was, and I just sat there and sucked the air out of it. She's looking at me appalled, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm getting the air out of it. I don't have a vacuum sealer. Back then, vacuum sealers were stupid money.
Oh, yeah.
And I sucked all the air out of it with the straw, and then as I'm still sucking, I pull the straw out with my teeth and zip it shut as quick as I can, just to get as much air out as you can.
Yeah.
Because like I said, air's your enemy.
Definitely. Okay. Definitely in the freezer section, air is your enemy.
You just made me think of something there, Mark. I bought something here to keep my computer, all my keyboards clean and stuff. Hang on, I'm going to switch view here for a second, people. And I froze. I bought a little power vac for keeping my desktop clean. But also happen to have one of these little thingies. Oh, I can put it over the bag and just pop it out and then pop it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a lot more air out of it than if you just throw it in the freezer or zip it shut and turn the freezer, or even a straw will help. But or squeeze it, everybody, if it depending on the type of food it is. Yeah. Like if I buy like a bunch of ham and it's just going in a Ziploc bag in the fridge, I'll put it in the Ziploc bag, but I will squeeze the air out of it and then zip it shut. That just keeps the air off of it and any bacteria that's in the air.
All right. Tammy Harder has a question here. And I've never heard of the bag in a bowl method on Ziplocs.
So what you do with that is you get a pot of water. You put your food in a Ziploc. This is for sous vide. It's actually a good trick. You submerge it down. You zip it all the way shut except for like a little edge, and you leave that edge above the water, and you push it down in. The water will pressure and displace the air out and push it out. So, that works really great. I mean, for people who sous vide, who don't have a vacuum sealer or whatever, that is the preferred method to get air out of your beef or meat, whatever you're doing in a sous vide, to get it out, and then it barely floats. And you still have a tiny bit of air in there, but a whole lot less than if you just zip it shut and try to squeeze it out by hand. But the water bath method works great for getting air out of your Ziploc bag. Just don't get any water in there.
Yeah.
And wipe it off real good before you put it in the freezer, because you don't want to get that extra moisture in your freezer. That'll cause freezer burn too.
All right, the other store packaging. I think the store packaging. All right, I'm going to hit both the meat departments at the freezer departments at Costco and Sam's Club, where they have the hamburger in the frozen 1 pound chubs, and then those are pretty good. We actually got a bunch years ago. There are usually 5 1 pound chubs in the bag, and it was on sale, and we got a bunch of them, and we put them in the chest freezer. 3 years later,
what are these? Oh crap!
Pulled it out and opened them up, and my wife was very, kind of touchy, sniffy. It's fine. Is that the stuff on, especially on the Costco ones, they use some heavy duty plastic sealer on it there,
it's a plastic tube. So that's different. They don't vacuum seal that. They basically make a ground beef sausage in a plastic tube. So as it's coming out, it's pushing its own air out. And the machine, there's still a little bits of air here and there, but the machine will put the metal rings on it, 2 of them, and cut in the middle. And that's why if you look carefully, at those chubs with the metal clamp ring on the end. It looks like a Jimmy Dean
find
sausage.
a little bit of meat in the outside
There's
thing.
a little bit of meat in there. So if you're going to put it in the fridge or whatever, wash it off.
Yeah.
Because that gets, and they do wash them when they come out of the factories because they don't need bacteria growing in their refrigerators or freezers when they're storing the stuff before they ship it.
Yeah.
Hope you're all learning something today.
And Mother Earth Garden Club says she uses my little vacuum doohickey here to suck squash bugs off her zucchini.
It works well for spiders too. Just saying.
Yeah. So basically, when you're talking about store packaging, just think about it. One of the things I've gotten more recently because of the grandsons is I can't think of the brand name. They carry it's carried at a lot of the stores and stuff, but it's the flour tortilla taquitos with the chicken in it, and the bag on it is when it comes is semi vacuum sealed.
Yeah.
But it has the heat iron on it, But first thing I do when I open it up, it's like, okay, unless they're all going to be over here like they are going to be this weekend, we're going to have them for like 3 days straight, and they're all going to want taquitos every day. When I open one of those up, I will put it into Ziploc bags, into a couple quart bags, so there's less of them each one, and suck the air out and keep it that way.
The worst thing you can buy and try to hold for anything more than a week or two is anything frozen in a box, like mozzarella sticks that are just
chicken pot pies,
whatever. If they're like the we like the TGI Fridays, like the potato skin, the loaded potato skins. Well, they're just they might be in a bag sometimes, or other stuff is just in the box. And if it stays in the freezer for more than like a month, it's just, you open it up and you got more snow coming out than food because all the moisture evaporates out in the freezer because our freezer is only at like 10 below, not 40 or 50 below. So stuff starts to evaporate out, and there's your freezer burn. So
I must say that my chest freezers are at the low setting they will go. When I take something out of the chest freezer, it takes quite a while for it to thaw out.
Yeah, that's what everybody thinks. So everybody says, "Oh, it's frozen." Okay, well, what is frozen? Frozen water freezes at 32 or 31.
Yeah.
So if it's frozen at 31. Well, great, but frozen is everything from 31 and down.
Yeah.
If you got 100 degree below zero blast freezer, you ain't walking in there. Yeah, your stuff is frozen hard and for good long-term storage. But your freezer in your refrigerator, freezer in the kitchen, you might be lucky to keep it at, because every time you open the refrigerator, the warm air goes in. You might be lucky to keep it at like 20, 10 if it stays shut for a long time. Chest freezers, you can get them down to like 10 below, maybe 15.
Ooh, nice.
But all the and upright freezers, which I have one, God love it. It's very old. I love her to death. She's still working. Every time you open the door, all the cold air runs out the bottom and all the hot air runs in the top.
Yeah.
And you shut the door and it takes a good 20 minutes for that thing to run the compressor, and they're not very efficient for that.
Yeah. All right. So vegetables at the store, store packaging for vegetables, for fresh vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Well, unless they're super on sale and it's a local store and they're getting the stuff locally. If it's like a big chain and they're not getting it locally, I ain't gonna bother with them.
No.
But if it's one of the local, like around here, we got several local stores and they buy locally, during the summertime and everything else. If they have it on sale, well, first thing I'm going to do is what we're going to talk about a little bit later here is I'm going to take that, wash it, bag it, or like if it's tomatoes, bag it and freeze it to can it later.
Yeah.
But, some of the stuff, that's just, you look at the store, you go through it. Bologna, or lunch meats and stuff. Bologna is probably a little bit better because it's vacuum sealed and it's a little container. Toss that in the freezer. You buy it on sale, toss it in the freezer. And depending on the type, it's going to, how long it's going to last. But some of the lunch meat ones, Land O'Lakes and I can't the names of this, but you see they come in the little hard plastic, pop top container with a little quote vacuum seal, which I've never seen when it's truly vacuum sealed.
No, they're not vacuum sealed. They're just sealed up to keep the air off it.
Yeah. Those I would say more than a month, you're beyond on the freezer date on it. Let's see.
You get deli
pizza.
meats on sale. I would like from the deli, from the slicer. Now you're also relying. I'm not going to scare anybody. You're relying upon the sanitation behind the counter to go on the piece of paper, on the scale, into their little zippy bag that never works. Take it home, take it out, put it in a seal meal bag or a Ziploc. Do the water bath thing where you drop it down in to get the air out of it if you're going to freeze it. If you have a seal meal, seal it. If you got a chamber sealer, better yet, just get the air out of there. And so freezing doesn't kill bacteria. It doesn't even stop it 100% from growing any further. It just slows it way down. Yeah. So if you have food that had any kind of bacteria on it, not to scare anybody, but it does, over time, bacteria is still going to grow. That whole chicken that was wrapped in that cryovac plastic you threw in the freezer 3 years ago, you may want to be careful because it's still growing in there. Just really, instead of multiplying, doubling its bacteria population at room temperature, once every 12 minutes or whatever it is, it'll double its bacteria population once every 20 days. It's just really slow. It doesn't go into stasis. It just slows it down. Big argument I used to have with my mom, and we threw lots of stuff out in one of her chest freezers that had to be 15 years old. But according to my mom, it was still good.
Yeah.
I have a video on that, but I don't know if I have the Keonis to put that up. I did that on my 8mm JVC camera. I have it called Cleaning Mom's Freezer. It's 3 hours of me and my friend and my wife and his wife going through and showing off everything, things with no barcodes. And this was back in '89.
Yeah.
And putting them in bags and taking it down the street and throwing it in a dumpster. And my mom was livid. Never let me live that one down. But whatever.
All right. So Ziplocs. My wife uses Ziplocs quite a bit for stuff from the garden. Most notably, she will do zucchini, run it through the
zoodle maker.
Yeah, you drop it in, and it's spits out the stirring pieces and stuff.
Yeah,
and she'll do that, and she'll put it in the freezer. But then she's very particular about putting the date on it. So she sees, and she usually keeps that near the top because she tries to use it in, different, she's making bread. She'll make zucchini bread, and she'll use the zucchini in it. If she's using other things, other squashes and stuff, she tries to use it too. She tries to make sure that nothing in a Ziploc is in the freezer more than a year, no matter what.
Good plan.
So Ziplocs are better than store packaging for the most part, but it's when you need to use it and how long, no more than a year.
All my tomatoes that came out of the garden, I put in Ziploc bags.
Yes, and that's the other one thing. Tomatoes.
They're already got the little frost on them where it's pulling out the moisture, and I've got to get them all into jars and processed. And
tomatoes naturally have air inside them. We all know that because when you can them whole, they all float. And after about a month or a couple of weeks, whatever, they all drop it back down again because there's natural air inside tomatoes. So they will, Yeah, I do the same thing. I'll throw them in my chamber sealer.
So when you're doing the method where you just freeze them, you core them, throw them in a bag, and freeze them, and then so the skins will come off easier. You don't have to do the whole blanch thing. That's about 3 months, and I pushed it past that, and I can tell.
Yeah.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Jars to empty up.
Oh, well, that could be a problem.
That's the problem. I need more jars. I actually bought a jar at the thrift store today.
All right, next one here. The next one I got in red. If you haven't guessed, I kind of color-coded side over here as far as what I think. So plastic containers. Those are there's a whole field of plastic containers. I'm going to start with the cheapest ones. Oh, the ones that the Land O'Lakes lunch meat comes in.
Yeah. No. Wait. Okay, so show of hands, everybody that's older than 40. Not to call age out.
Oh,
no. How many of us had moms that saved every Cool Whip container with a million lids? Yeah, me too. I'm right there. And everything was in a Cool Whip container with a piece of freezer tape on it, maybe to go in the freezer, leftovers and that. And then you open it up and the entire lid was nothing but frost stuck to it. Yes, that's me.
No, we had these perfectly square, and we were poor. The poor Tupperware was for the refrigerator. We had these perfectly square. Well, they were rectangle, but when you look down at them, they were square.
Yep.
1 quart. They were white thick plastic with a red lid. And anything going in the freezer had to go in one of those little cubes. And then you're trying to get that thing out to make soup or something. And not like the things they have now that are like silicone. You could not pop that baby out of there. And you couldn't microwave it. It wasn't microwave safe.
We didn't have a microwave
back then. We didn't believe in microwaving it. And you had to set that out on the counter for I don't know how long. Or put it in the refrigerator the night before to get the leftovers out of that thing.
All right, Lewis says he'll trade you empty jars for jars of potatoes.
Lewis,
bring them.
It's tempting,
but you gotta go get them in person, Tammy. Sorry.
I'm not sure where Lewis lives, but I do go to Canada twice a year. I missed it over COVID. It's time to go back.
Hey, Rob.
Texas Rob is in the house.
Yep, cottage cheese container. So if you're going to freeze soup, like we all sometimes have leftover soup, and you're going to freeze it, and you have a container that's either too small or too big. If you put it in a container that's a little too small, which we all do, take a piece of saran wrap and lay it on top of the soup before you make it touch the soup to keep the air off of it. Then put the lid on it, put it in the freezer, and try to use it within the next month or two. Yeah. Don't forget about it and open up a year and a half from now and go, oh, look, it's now interesting texture soup that's like foamy but frozen.
Get it out the next time you don't have a full canner load. Put it in a jar and can it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
It's not going to last in the freezer.
All right. So here's a little thing. You might be a redneck if you have a complete salad bowl collection. They all say Cool Whip on them.
Yep. Now, we didn't eat salads out of that, but we did take leftovers to school in Cool Whip containers.
You're not a redneck if you're eating salad.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Unless
it's a Minnesota salad.
All right. Other plastic containers, you can buy just lost it. Rubbermaid sets that have the snap on it, and you push down in, and it stays divoted for a while, but a week later you notice it's come back up level. But it kind of snaps on it. Now I do use some of those when I'm making soups. I will I have some of those Minute Maid ones that have never been in the microwave. Never going to go in the microwave. And what I'll do is I'll fill it up to the level I want for the making single serves. Put those in the freezer for overnight. Take them out the next morning, and then take that block out of there and toss it in a seal-a-meal and suck it up and do it. However, I have noticed that Sometimes it's better to go in there a couple hours after it's been in the freezer with a spoon and push down the top edge around it so it doesn't wind up with a sharp edge on top.
Yeah.
That way you kind of round the edge down a little bit. Just got to remember to do it. So, but plastic containers, even to see it, those, the good ones, snapping ones that are just like Tupperware to where it just snaps on. Tupperware is better than the Rubbermaid. I'm sorry, it is, hands down. It gets a better seal on it. But those aren't good for 3 months at the max, I would say.
Yep.
At the max. Let's see.
The point is to be rotating your food supply.
Yeah.
So the freezer is not a long-term. I'm going to say this. The freezer is not a real good long-term storage for a lot of things.
Yeah.
There are things that do really well long-term in there. Have I eaten things a lot longer and older than Mark would put in his freezer? Yeah.
Sweetie, you have no idea what I've pulled out of my freezer from years. But I lived with a mom like yours, and yeah, well,
there are things that came out of the freezer. I'm like, when did you buy that?
Yeah, just eat it. You're fine.
Yeah.
It's good. Eat it.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I grew up with that.
Sandy got my Minnesota salad. Minnesota salads all have Cool Whip in them, not lettuce. Yes.
All right. Okay. Of course, Seal Meal and Food Savers. Seal Meal bought up Food Saver. So even on the new no, other way around. Food Saver bought up Seal Meal. So on the Seal Meals out there, you'll see it'll say down on the back where it's got all the corporate stuff. It'll say Food Saver on it. So if you buy the bags are all produced the same, they just put it in a different box. So it doesn't matter which one you got it. However, one thing to remember, even Food Saver and stuff will fail.
Yeah.
The vacuum ones will fail.
And you can get a puncture hole.
Especially if you're doing bone-in pork chops, or bone-in T-bones, or something like that.
Once they're hard and frozen, you start moving them around the freezer, they start making that
contact
brick sound when you're moving them, and that sharp little edge will poke a little micro hole in there, and then you'll pull it out a month or two later, and it's full of air.
Yep. All right, CB's here. All right. But for the one, I'm going to deviate here for a minute. So if you're putting stuff into bags and stuff, whether it's Ziploc or Seal Meal, get yourself some cardboard boxes to put in the freezer. If you got the little metal baskets, line it with cardboard, get it a little bit of protection.
Yep.
And that way when you put stuff in there, if you put a bunch of packages in, you get I got packages that are about like that wide, about an inch wide. When you hit 6, put another piece of cardboard in there. Add buffer.
If you have an upright one and you're really redneck, you'll get those really cheap, jinky milk crates from Walmart when they come out, when the students are all going back to school in September and they have the real thin. That's all you need to keep your food from falling out on you on those upright freezers and keep it organized. Sorry, I thought about that when you were saying that. So same principle as the cardboard box. It'll keep it
safe from getting everything piling on and rubbed against each other and damaging it.
Yeah.
Glass containers. Two sets of glass containers.
Same as plastic for time. They're a little more durable.
The with the glass containers, there are two major ones out there. The one is the Pyrex Snap Seal, and then there's the better one, and the company is COCCOU, and they're actually using the begins with a B, the type of silicate stuff. I've done a video on it.
You just did the video when I was
here. I did the video on it. Give me a second here, guys.
I want to say bismuth, but that's not right. That's pepper bismuth. Bicarbonate?
No, something's close, getting closer there.
It's the good stuff that you can that can handle heat, like the original Pyrex did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, hang on. It's coming over here, guys. Boom. There we go. And this is the come on, where is it? It's in here. Usually, it was right at the top here. There it is. Borosilicate. Borosilicate. Yeah, glass. But yeah, these things here are better glass than the Pyrex. This is what Pyrex used to be made like. And these have the silicone ring inside the lid, so you're getting not plastic to glass. You're getting the silicone gasket in there, so it seals a lot longer. But even still, with something like this, you don't want to put this glass straight into the microwave, frozen food in it. You want to let it defrost.
So fun fact. Well, my wife, she put hot soup in the glass container, and we have the redneck refrigerator going this time of year outside. Mm-hmm. She put the snap-on lid on there and put it outside. I had to cut the lid off. It was hot food. It sucked that lid down so hard and froze. I couldn't get the lid off. I mean, it literally buckled the lid down, but it didn't break the seal. So I'll give it credit for that. I had to poke a hole in it with a knife to get it out, and she ordered another lid because we couldn't get it. It stayed that way even after it thawed. It wouldn't. I just couldn't get it undone. So if you're going to put hot food in a container, make sure it's at least room temperature or cooler before you snap those lids shut. And then if you're going to put it in the freezer, great. Don't put it in hot ever.
When I'm doing those when I do the hamburger and I make the taco meat and stuff, and I use the square ones about that size. Mm-hmm. I put a hot pad in. Once I put it in there, let it sit out for a little bit on the counter, and then I put it in the refrigerator, not the freezer. I put it in the refrigerator on a hot pad and put the lid on it, slightly cockeyed.
Yep.
And I'll wait till it's cold. Once that's cooled down where it's cool, then I will snap it on it, and I'll leave it in there another couple hours just to make sure it doesn't suck down too much, and then I toss it in the freezer.
Yep.
And the grandkids, come in, they open up the refrigerator. Oh, no taco meat. I pull one out, and I pull one out of the freezer. And usually it's for the next day because it takes that long. Sit it on the counter just about most of the day and stuff. But yeah.
So now, freezer time for plastic, even glass, doesn't matter. It's the same. The glass doesn't make your food last longer. It's just a whole lot more durable and no microplastics in your food.
Now, we forgot one kind of glass container. There are jars by
that's where I was going to.
I'm sorry.
That's where I was going. Yeah.
That are made for freezing. That's what the kind of jar I bought today. But I left it in the car. It's out in the truck freezing. I'm not going with our 60-mile-an-hour winds. I am not in snow. It's like can't see your hand in front of your face. I'm not going out to get it. But they do say freezer right on them, and it has a line that says you can fill it up to this line, and they're wide mouth, always wide mouth. Don't try to freeze in a jar with shoulders.
Yeah, it'll break the shoulder off.
Here's thing to consider on that. Just because it's a tapered jar and it's wide mouth, it's not necessarily a freezer jar. No. The boxes that they come in will have to say freezer safe, or they have things on the side of it. And I forgot to bring in my freezer, my case of ball jars from back in 1968.
Now, they may have made them in 1968, and they did. I'm not sure they're making freezer safe by that company right now.
Yeah, they're not.
So now, that's why I spent the 99 cents at the thrift store today and grabbed one that was freezer safe.
Yeah. One of the things, let's see if I can find it here. I'm trying to bring it up here so I can actually show what it is here. PAP. jars. I didn't think about doing this. Hang on, I got it's just trying to take me to that other company. I want to get the generic ones here, because those are the ones that all right, here we go. All right, now this is just North Mountain Supply. Now you notice it's tapered but no shoulder on it, whereas these over here have a shoulder on them. Just because they have a shoulder on them doesn't mean that they are freezer jars. And here's one of the other ones. I want to pull this up here. Someone's trying to tell me, oh, these are freezer jars. They don't have a shoulder on them. I looked up the ones they were talking about. Nothing about freezer on here. Nothing. So they're not even trying to pretend they're freezer safe. These are great for
if you're throwing blanched asparagus spears in there, like the picture, and they're not, you don't have water in there. Yeah, sure, you could probably freeze it, but you have so much airspace in there, your asparagus is just gonna get frosty anyway. It tastes like crap.
All right, and let me pull the other one up here. Going the other way here. Canning. There we go. Boom. And are they still in here? I'm going to one of my wish lists where I had the other ones in here. Okay. These other ones, which are on it, they say wide mouth, jelly, jam, the deal for honey, wedding favors, shower favors, nothing about freezing on them. Yeah.
The glass they're making right now in jars, a lot of companies are not tempering the glass. It has to be tempered to be able to go from hot to cold. And so that's an issue. It's not being, since COVID, things are not being tempered the way that they were prior to COVID by certain companies. I won't name out loud.
You don't have
I'm scrolling down farther just to show you guys what I'm laughing about. Image no longer available. And they had images, which means if I click and there's no prices on it. So they're no longer listed there. So, I mean, some of these were ones that were really tapered. And some of them were regular mouth, but tapered, tall, skinny, regular mouth lids. But like I said, they don't say freezer on them. So if they don't say freezer on them, they ain't freezer.
Yeah. So like most half pint jars, except for a lot of the ones I have from my mom, which were not Ball, they were somebody else, Atlas. They're little squat jars with a small lid but a wide body. But half pint jars, the standard ones from our favorite company, and pint wide mouth, they're separate than pints, and then pint and a half jars, unless it's a spaghetti sauce jar that's pint and a half, they're pretty much all wide mouth, but they're not freezer safe.
Yeah. Now, just I just saw Tammy's comment down here, Tammy Harder's comment down here. Yeah, so it's just because it doesn't have a shoulder doesn't mean it's freezer safe. Now, if you happen to find at an old estate sale or some old some garage sales where they got the old-fashioned boxes that have come all the way up to the top and have the folding lids on them, whether they're made by Ball or Kerr. On the outside of the box, it'll say it'll say freeze safe without the third E in it. So it's FREEZ -safe, and it'll say on those, if you find one of those and the jars are the ones that belong in that box,
get them. Luck.
The jars do say, the older jars that are freezer safe do say freezer line on them.
Yeah.
Because that line is different than the fill line for canning. Even though
what about my Ball jars and my Atlas jars or Kerr or whatever that say strong shoulder? I have a lot of those.
Those are not freezer safe. They're
They
are
shoulders.
better tempered, but the strong shoulder had nothing to do with the freezer. It was they weren't going to break on top.
Yeah.
It's just a sales gimmick.
Yeah. Now,
from the 1800s.
Yeah. The next thing that you notice, I put something in bold down here at the bottom, blanching. For people putting things in the freezer, especially for vegetables and certain fruits and stuff, this is a step that gets forgotten so much, and it comes back to bite them in the tushy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Every bean I froze, and I think I told you all I grew these Italian flat beans. They're like 12 inches long, and I probably got about 300-400 pounds because I didn't know what I was into. My wife's like, grow these. I'm like, okay. The neighbors used to run. They'd see me walk outside with a Ziploc bag. They went back in the house because they got sick of getting beans from me. So I'm bringing them in the house, cleaning them, washing them, nipping the ends off, cutting them into 1-inch pieces, getting a pot of water boiling, threw them in a pot and blanched them for like 2 minutes, pulled them out. Because then what blanching does is it breaks the cell walls and lets the air and stuff out of it. They'll actually absorb water. So if you throw a pound of green beans after you trim them, weigh it, throw it in the water and pull them back out, they'll actually weigh more because the water will take up all the empty spaces that the air was in. And then when you put it in dry them off as best you can, throw them in a seal meal bag and flatten it out and then seal it shut. Watch the water getting sucked into because it's going to pull water out of them, and freeze them. They will last a whole lot longer than just cutting fresh beans, throw in the seal meal bag and throw it in the freezer. Those will frost up. The ones that are technically, they're almost packed in water if you want to look at it that way. And they're still partially cooked, so you're not going to get a fresh, crisp green bean out of the freezer. You just don't. You got to blanch. Even the stuff you buy in the store, the 1 pound family pack of green beans or whatever, they're all blanched. Or if they're not blanched, they are flash frozen, and I don't even have that capability to put it in a blast freezer to drop it down to 40 below in a matter of a minute or so. Not happening. Then, okay, they're a little not as fresh.
Now, the advantage to buying pre-chopped up vegetables for the freezer that have already been blanched or flash frozen, but most of them are the ones I'm buying are like cubed up, so they were blanched, is when I put them in my regular dehydrator, not the freeze dryer, but the regular dehydrator. Yep. They're already cut, they're already prepped, and they're already blanched, and I can put them right in my dehydrator and dehydrate them for soups and stews. And so I buy a lot of them and then throw them in my dehydrator because there was a while there that Myers was selling little packages of 12-ounce or 8-ounce packages now for $1 a pack, the buy 10, get 1 free or whatever sale. So I would buy those and dehydrate them because all I had to do was take them home, open them up, stick them right in my dehydrator. So there is some advantages to buying the store-bought ones if you can get them on sale cheap.
Yeah, that's the big thing, sale.
Saves.
All right. All right. So let's go on to the next. I got some pictures here. Boom.
Hey, he spent a little bit more money than the cheap milk crate thing.
Yeah,
this is not mine. This is someone's I found there. And so what interesting thing is I'm just noticing all the pork chops over here on the left-hand side here in Ziplocs. That's too many pork chops to be in Ziplocs. They need to be in seal meals.
Yeah.
Unless they're eating a package a day, that needs to be in seal meals. Yeah. Down in the bottom here, in the upper right bottom, I can't tell even here that almost looks like frozen crescent roll dough. Yeah, those are the white ones there, frozen crescent roll. Some more meat right in the same container with them here. The bottom right here, that's all bread. you got bagels, and
Bread
you
is
got
its own problem.
and you got raisin bread.
Yeah, bread is its own problem because bread is 40% air, give or take. So you can freeze a loaf of bread. Yeah, you bought 3 on sale. Well, use them up within the next 2 weeks if that's what you did. Don't leave them in there and forget about it
and don't put them in the refrigerator.
No, it's stale. Makes it stale really fast. Ugh.
Or get soggy.
Yeah. But then you could do that to bread and just use it quickly because if it just sits there, it turns to crap.
Yeah. So the only thing we've ever frozen and had it come out okay was Thomas's English muffins.
That's because you're going to throw it in the toaster, so any freezer burned odor off of that is going to go away as soon as you throw it in the toaster.
Well, even if you don't put it in the toaster, it's still because the substance of the English muffin is a lot thicker, heavier, solid compared to bread or even hamburger buns or hot dog buns. Now, the one thing I have noticed, because I'm not saying who did it, it wasn't me. Got a couple loaves of the raisin bread on super sale. Tossed them in the fridge. The only thing saving grace was, I don't know how many people get the raisin bread. It's not just in the outside package. You pull that outside package, and it's got that shrink wrap package on it around it as well.
Yeah.
So, and also cinnamon bread is a heavier bread than even hot dog buns and hamburger buns.
So one thing I used to do when my daughters were all little, they loved the little mini pancakes you buy at the store and that. They were getting expensive. So I'm like, you know what? Heck with this. We always cook in volume bulk before we had kids. It's just the way we were because of where I went to school and where I worked, and same with her. So I made up like 2 gallons of pancake batter. I must have cooked off 400 pancakes. But as they came out and I let them cool down outside because it was, our outdoor fridge, I put them in the freezer for like a couple hours, not wrapped, just to harden. Then I put them in seal and meal bags and suck the air out of them because they would eat like 2 apiece, 3 girls. So I'd put 6 in a bag and throw them in the freezer. And we had just stacks of instant pancakes where we could just take them out and literally throw them in a toaster oven, and they had pancakes. But you can't do that if they're soft. If you put them in there and seal meal, they just turn into crepes.
They turn into. No offense to anybody. This is what my wife said, and she used to be Catholic.
Crepes.
She goes, they turn into wafers at sacrament.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that you talking about that, my oldest son loves his pancakes and he loves his waffles, and he'll do big pancakes, but he'll do waffles, and he'll spend like several hours in there doing waffles, get them cooled down, get the gallon size Ziploc, put 3 or 4 of the 4 square waffles in there, and toss them in the freezer, and he'll have several of those in there. Thing is, a week later, they're all gone. He eats them. So
that's good. Freezers are good for holding food for short term to eat it.
Yeah.
Not to store it and say, okay, I bought 400 pounds of ground beef on sale and I'm going to freeze it and I got enough meat for the next 3 years. Yeah, well, a year and a half, 2 later, if you didn't store it properly in the freezer, you're just throwing it in the trash.
All right, for this one here, one thing that jumps out at me, this one here, was the labels. 2 pounds, 2 pounds, whatever, and then a date on this side over here. Down there it says, over on this one over here, it says something chopped. Oh, pork chops, and has the date on it and stuff. But they also got, down in the center there, they got corn in a seal meal. They got Brussels sprouts in the seal meal. They got green peas in the seal meal.
Sprouts. Y'all hate Brussels sprouts. They're so good.
In a Ziploc. And I'm not sure what's in the store. What's in this store brand here? Pick of the field or whatever. But obviously they're keeping that one on top because they're going through that one short-term storage in the freezer.
It looks like artichokes to me. It looks good.
Yeah.
Looks better than the Brussels sprouts.
Now, down on the underneath the tray on the left here in the black tray down there, about, I don't know if you can see the cursor moving there, about a quarter of the way from the bottom, there's bacon in a store wrap black styrofoam tray. Oh, there's another black styrofoam tray underneath it.
Styrofoam tray, because all bacon I buy in the 1 pound, like Oscar Mayer or whatever.
This is fresh cut at the store, so they put it in there and they put it out like they do the hamburger and the pork chops and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's that fresh cut, no, you take it out of that tray and put it in a seal meal.
I bought. We have a couple stores down here. One was in Virginia. It was called Sharp Shopper, and loved it. And there's stuff that it was like Ollie's or whatever for food. They get it in, the expiration date's close. They bought it super cheap. They sold it super cheap. I picked up like 40 pounds of Cracker Barrel pepper bacon, thick sliced, for like this is probably 4 years ago, maybe 5, for like 99 cents a package, a pound. And I still have probably 10 of them in the freezer, and I opened one probably a couple weeks ago. I pulled it out, let it thaw, opened it up. It's fine because it's in the cryovac pack. So I wasn't worried about it. Now I'm not going to let it go too much longer. It's all going out to the cabin with me here in the spring to eat it. Egg shortage. Yep. Freezing eggs, egg substitute. That's all you, Tammy.
Okay. Serena, you can freeze eggs. I don't recommend you freeze them without mixing them up like scrambled eggs. They will freeze better. My mom always froze them 1 egg per ice cube in an ice cube tray, and the large ice cube, standard ice cubes will hold 1 egg. So you can freeze them. They're not good for very long. This is, 6 months and that they're out of there. There's a lot of different things. I done a video on egg substitutes, and so you can check out that video. But there's a lot of things you can use. You can use the liquid from chickpeas and use that as an egg substitute. It's called aquafaba.
Yeah.
So these are not freezer safe jars in this freezer.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And like Mark said, he loves freeze drying the eggs.
Yeah.
Raw.
And Homesteading Family does water glassing on it. They've been had a long time.
I did a video on that 2 years ago.
All right. Point I didn't know. Thank you, Sandy. Put bread in the freezer or in the fridge causes it starts to become more resistant, spike blood sugar. So that's one of the things that of course, if you go to the old, and I talked about this on another live stream, you go to the old antique, for a better word, like the Encorn wheat, some of the old school wheats that hasn't been modified. They actually are very easy to digest and do very lower on the blood sugar thing.
I threw my freeze drying egg video up on there and tagged Serena in it.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the other. I picked this out because all the meat is wrapped in the heavy duty waxed butcher paper. But I noticed just now in the door of the refrigerator here, these 4 jars. They're not freezer jars.
Mm-mm.
But I'm not sure what's in them. The one almost looks like tallow for 2 of them.
Or chicken broth.
Chicken broth. Yeah. Yeah, my freezer never looks like that because Freezer paper, butcher paper works, but not that well. It's still just paper, and there's still air in there.
Yeah. On it, they double wrapped it, and far as I know, she still has some stuff in there. It's been a year and a half, and I got to find out from her: is any of the meat coming out freezer burned?
Probably.
Of course, most of it's in a chest freezer turned down to as cold as a chest freezer will go.
You're still going to get frost on it.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
Einkorn, yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Sandy.
Yes. All right. So is that the last picture? That's the last picture. And we hit the time. Perfect. Yeah. So if you're going, if you're going to be putting stuff in the freezer, do it right, because poop happens and you forget about it. Or you put more stuff in the freezer, and you put more stuff in the freezer, and you put more stuff in the freezer, and it's down at the bottom, and you forget about it.
Welcome to my world.
That's why those milk crates are great, because they're easy to lift out sections at a time without having everything avalanche, even out of the chest freezer.
These trays right here, I've actually bought on Amazon. I had to go out and measure my chest, and I bought extra of those to go into the freezer. And then my wife at Sam's Club, where they have the big piles of cardboard boxes, she's gone through there and picked out the really heavy duty ones she can find.
Thick ones.
Yes.
Get the produce boxes that have wax and are super thick. Yes. I forget what vegetables come in them, but yeah, they're super
banana
thick.
Boxes.
Make whatever you want.
There's some thicker than banana box, but she's also got has gotten the shorter ones for like strawberries, blueberries, because those get dripped on, and so the cardboard on those are thicker too. And so she'll put several of those in there. That way she's lifting out not heavy weighing boxes, but she's lifting out less at a time. All right, this week, Tammy, you got anything coming up this week?
Possibly on Thursday.
All right.
I got a lot of videos coming out daily. I'm on a roll with making videos, so there'll be something every day.
Yeah, but as far as a live stream going on,
but live possibly Thursday.
All right. So tomorrow night on my other channel, Gray Man Prepping, the topic is pre-installed malware. And I fell down the rabbit hole on this one. I'm finding all sorts of stuff on it. So pre-installed malware is tomorrow on Tactical Tuesday. Thursday night is the Midnight Ride. Friday back here on Camp Patton is what is your favorite homestead tool?
Oh.
And I know Mark and I share the same favorite tool.
Mine's bigger than yours.
Yeah, yours is bigger, but mine can get down narrower rows.
I don't have narrow roads, so I don't care. And if it's too narrow, I make it bigger with my tool.
Yeah. Saturday on Survival Saturday for Gray Man Prepping is we're going back to Scout Camp for what's called tenderfoots. We're going back and we're going to do rope work. Know your knots. So I'm going to be talking about all the types of knots you can use in the garden, around the livestock, with whatever you need to do, loading up lumber on the back of the pickup. We're going to talk about all the cool knots and stuff. And hopefully I can get somebody in here on Friday if she's not too PO'd at her job. And Shammy, you've done this too, crocheting, knitting stuff, other type of knots you can use for making stuff. I wish I could get my sister up here. She just doesn't want to do it. She's turning into an old fuddy duddy. But she used to do macrame. She used to do macrame.
I used to macrame in the 70s. But my favorite knot is the surgeon's knot for obvious reasons.
Yeah, fishing. Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
I
have a
used to use
CR
it as
joke.
surgery.
Wait on CR for a second.
No, I'm not.
Wait on CR for a second. My sister did the macrame in the 60s.
Ooh.
She was born in 47. She was doing it in the 60s. All right. Hit the CR joke.
I am not dealing with that.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, yeah.
KNOTT, whatever.
All right, everyone. Thanks for coming in. Hopefully, you can make it onto one of the other ones coming up here. And I'm trying to get the staff sergeant to come up here a couple times here.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But she, we talked for a couple hours Sunday morning, and I told her, I will back whatever you want to do. Last time I told her that 2 months ago, guess what she did? I was able to go out and get myself a used Murano all-wheel drive. She was pricing everything out. The accountant took over. She bought herself a brand new 2025 Honda CR-V all-wheel drive.
Ooh, nice. Nice.
And she figures this is probably going to be the last car I buy. And so she got a new of the extended warranty and everything else on it to take care of it, all the fun stuff and everything else on it.
Good planning.
Yeah. So, but yeah, she's on the point. It's like it's no longer fun working where she's at. So I just got to find some place where maybe there's an accounting job up here. She can get comparable pay up here. But she's one of the chief accountants for the company she works for, and this is Idaho, not California.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for coming by, and we'll see you later.
Have a good night.